Hey, welcome to Strings and Pages. I'm Kevin Sullivan, your host. This is brought to you by kpsbooks.net, your home for everything awesome stories. But we are reading the Rings of Hydra's Great Escape, and we are on chapter 21. And this is where things really take off, start kicking ass, get good, however you want to put it. Chapter 21. Friday. The Friday. The cube was extra chilly this morning, as David and Joe rose from their beds at the same moment. Joe opened the folding door to find his brother, standing fully dressed with a determined look on his face. "You ready for this?" David asked. "I'm ready," Joe said. "Are you ready?" "I think I am, Joe," David said. "But Joe?" "Yeah, Dave?" "If something happens to me, will you..." "Stop," Joe said. "The answer is yes. Of course I will. But Dave?" "Yeah, Joe?" "You can take care of your family yourself when we land." David nodded. So much was said in such few words. It was time to get the show on the road. The soft morning light bled through the soot-covered window upon Melinda's face. Baby Brian was snuggled into her. Both looked about as peaceful as one could be. It broke David's heart to wake them, but he had to. Every moment of this day was a crucial one. Everything must go as planned. "Mel," he whispered. "My love. It's time." She came to and sighed. "It's the day, isn't it? We're really doing this? Please get up, my love. Yes, today will be the most amazing day of your life. Minus the day you met me, of course." "It's way too early for jokes," she said. "David, I'm scared." "No, I'm terrified." He kissed his wife's head and said, "I'm nervous too, babe, but not scared. Excited is more like it. Think of it as a day where you can go out and enjoy some shopping, then get on a jet that will take you to a new, beautiful life. Today is not one to fear, my love. Today is one to cherish." Across the cube, Jen sat up in bed, surprising them both. It was just as well, as they would be waking her soon too anyway. "Pardon my interruption," Jen said. "I'm scared too, Mel. But I'll be here with you. Whatever I can do for you. Anything. Don't hesitate to ask." Melinda looked at her baby and a tear rolled down her cheek. So early in the morning. "If I don't make it, please take care of him for me." David saw Jen was crying now too, as she said, "I promise." "Thank you, Jen," David said, "but you'll be just fine. We will all be great. And on that note, we've got to get ready and leave." Four adults and a baby piled into the hover cab, along with some personal belongings, things that had been packed up the night before. The Hagans didn't have much. They traveled light. David looked at the cube as the cab pulled away. He thought he might feel a touch of sadness when this moment came. He was wrong about that. He felt joy. He despised this cube, this street, this entire forsaken ring. It could fall into the ocean as soon as they left, for all he cared. Wished it would, even. They were on their way. The Hagen family traveled in silence for the entire ride to work. Not because they didn't want to talk. Rather, they didn't want to be heard by whomever might be listening. The cab, mainly. The silence made the ride seem a little longer than usual, but they all remained alert and nervous. Before they knew it, they were at the site. The cab pulled up to the job, along with several others. This was normal. What wasn't normal was the amount of additional people who exited and quickly made their way into town rather than sticking around. Also abnormal was the way David patted his brother's back and said, "I'll see you at lunch." Then went with Melinda, Jen, and Brian. Joe watched them walk away. Then went to clock into the Breezy Curve job site. The shops around the Breezy Curve were still closed. They would be open soon, and in the meantime, David aimed to keep the day enjoyable. The best way to do so, he figured, would be a nice breakfast. Melinda, Jen, Brian, and David entered a fancy breakfast shop about 3 rows from the job site. They felt a little out of place, as the 3 other people in the establishment lacked the stained clothing David and his wife wore. He and Melinda went right to the back on the off chance that Foreman Thomas frequented this location. Jen ordered for the 3 of them, then joined them at the back table. Art covered the walls surrounding them. The lighting was low but pleasant, a maroon tone over gold trim. Jen placed the spread on the table. "Dig in," she said. Oatmeal, fruits, and sausage links that smelled delicious. Fresh juice was poured for everyone. For the Hagens, this was eating like kings. "My goodness," Melinda said. "I don't know if I can handle all this so early. How much was all this?" "Don't worry about that," Jen said. "It's the least I can do for letting me stay with you. And like David said, what are credits for after today anyway, right?" David ate a link in 2 bites. "You're absolutely right," he said with a cheekful. "After today, we'll eat like kings for free." Melinda tried the oats. "If I eat all this, I'll need a nap in the afternoon." After breakfast, the family strolled farther down the Solar Road to a line of shops where they would end up spending the rest of the morning. They still had a few hours until David returned to, and sneak into, the job site during the lunch hour. This row of shops would do until then. The atmosphere was calm and friendly, as this was an affluent area. The family entered the first shop, a variety trader with a long blue awning across the front of his store. It stretched a few hundred yards down the road, taking up several cubes. "I don't think I've ever been in a place like that," Melinda said. "Can we just go in there, or do we need an invitation?" The shop owner stepped onto the road just then, flipped a sign to announce he was open for business, then waved at the Hagens and said, "Morning." Jen looked at Melinda and said, "Consider that your invitation." Davis variety carried nearly anything someone living on the second ring might need, even some things they wouldn't. They had a hardware section filled with coatings, fasteners, and tools, even chains and ropes. There was a clothing section that was stuffed with every type of garment one could think of. The place also sold some home decorations, toys, and a bunch of things that served no purpose to the Hagans, but were fun to look at. David worked on his list. The first item he bought was a pair of large duffel bags. He then filled them with clothing for Brian, a few outfits for the next few stages of his life. He also grabbed a heavy, waterproof coat for himself and Melinda, plenty of socks and undergarments. Then he went back to the hardware section to add things to the survival kit. Lighters, ropes, plenty of twine, and a couple of flashlights. All of this he was able to fit into the first bag. The second he used for food and water, canned goods and dried fruits and veggies, things to hold them over until their first catch. David looked over and noticed another couple in Davis variety. He recognized them as another pair of wives from the room at the Axe. They were in the club. He smiled and simply said, "Good job. I can't wait." The women smiled in return. They were nervous, he could tell, but they were also smart enough not to engage in conversation about what they were about to do in public. They spent 2 hours in this store, not to mention nearly 4,000 credits. This was the majority of what David had. Also, most of the time he had. The plan was originally to visit more shops, but the first one ate up most of the morning. Lunchtime was approaching, and they had to get back soon. David hauled his newly acquired gear down the road. He carried one bag in each hand, and despite their weight, their design made the task manageable. 15 minutes later, David could see the roach coach parked in front of the site, right next to the Breezy Curve sign. He turned to his wife and placed the bags down. "This'll be a perfect spot to wait," David said. They all sat for a break. "I think we can see the edge from here," Jen said, pointing to the view beyond the small park where they stopped. "Look at this," David said, noticing the few children playing with their parents on the playground. "This would have been a wonderful place to live." He turned to his wife once again. "But our government considers us to be disposable garbage, Mel. And I won't stand for it. Not to mention, living out here is killing you. I can't stand idly by and watch that happen." Melinda hugged him and began to cry. "Listen to me, wife," he said. "I'm taking these heavy bags with me. I'm going back to the site. I'll see Joe and I'll tell him where you are, and he will meet you here when the shift ends. At dusk, I'll have the gate open, and you can all stroll in." David noticed 2 women were listening to him on the bench. Then he noticed they too were from the group. "Are you hearing me?" he asked. They nodded. "When the time is right, you'll all know it. Joe will know it. and it'll be as easy as walking in, okay? There were no questions. David kissed his family one last time before going in. Jen, thank you for your help. You've been an absolute delight. Melinda, I love you. And I'll see you in a few hours. He kissed Brian, picked up his bags, and started for the site. This was it. This was the plan. As far as any real level of accountability, it began now. This is chapter 21 of the Rings of Hydra's Great Escape, and I'll see you on chapter 22, baby.